How much extra time did I use? 13 minutes. I'll try to keep that in mind. Let's take a look at the Discord. Let's just take a look at it here. Let's see. My playlist is still going. Oh yeah, I love that video background, baby. At some point, I may have to look into wallpaper engine. In fact, look right here. It's, I think, a Reddit page open right here. And look, somebody listed a bunch of things. Animated wallpapers, right? So for me, my choice of animated wallpaper is to just use a YouTube video. It seems straightforward, but it's not the only option. Let's see. Hold on, I'm opening the stream on my phone. Right here. Okay. Let's take a look. So, Hidamari, Hanabi, Variety. Look, somebody listed a whole bunch, baby. A whole bunch. So, programmable shaders and editor. Doesn't that sound like a winner? It sounds like a winner to me. Right? It sounds like it could be cooler than just using a YouTube video, right? Now, I must admit, I do like these choices of YouTube video. I think that's a nice animated background. If you choose, you know, if you choose the right YouTube video, something that's not too static, but it can't be like an actual movie. If it's an actual movie, that's, in my opinion, probably way too distracting. But something like this is like, it's just an image, but it's got enough motion. A lot of them that are like this are more static than this, but this one's not too static. All right. So let's take a look. Layered wallpaper, multi-layered parallax wallpapers. Each layer moves with your mouse cursor, creating this beautiful effect. All right. So that could be interesting, I guess. I'd have to try them out. I'm not sure. Anime babes. I haven't really been using anime babes on the background, although, I mean, I don't know. Would I be opposed? Yeah, probably a little bit. AI. What is animated desktop wallpaper? So I don't know. Shader wallpaper for KDE, animated for KDE, dynamic for cinnamon. What is this one? No explanation. Animated wallpapers. Oh, goodness. Komorebi is slow. So they're just video wallpapers, right? Like, I don't know if it's much different than just using a YouTube video, other than you might have different options of the particular video animation. Animated walls are cool? What is it trying to say by that? Great to see you there, Vipua. It thinks that that's a name again. It thinks that that's a name, I guess, because it has an @ on it. Maybe it is a name. It's not a... It looks like random characters. Maybe it is a name, I don't know. Alright, animated desktop wallpapers are moving images. They add flair and keep things fresh. Okay, so, I mean, that's so interesting. Let me ask it one more. AI, what should we do next? $48 and 24 challenges. Okay. Okay. We are on the same page then. Amazing. Amazing. Okay, let's go to exorcism and look at these challenges. And let me open my spreadsheet as well. 3 in Q3, right here. Should I try an awk? What's bowling? Let's take a look at bowling. I don't think... Whoops, what the heck did I just do? I don't think I've done bowling. It says it's a medium. Let's give it a shot, maybe. Let's see. So first of all, have I done this on any track? No. It's available in 34 languages, but I have not done it. Okay. How many times does it show up here? Just the once. Okay, let's try it in awk. Could be something, I guess. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Scrabble score. Oh, so I actually did finish this one. Did I get it moved over on my sheet? Arturo. Scrabble score. That one is done. Amazing. Okay. Okay, so that's Scrabble score. Where's the awk one? Awk. Bowling. There we go. Backspace that out. Okay, let's try it. Let's see what it's about. Okay, so score a bowling game. So we're going to get 10 frames. So in an open frame, the score is less than 10. The score for the frame is the number of pins knocked down. A spare is where all 10 pins are knocked down by the second throw. It's 10 plus the number of pins knocked down in their next throw, okay? If it's a strike, the value is 10 plus the number of pins knocked down in the next 2 throws. So it's listed as medium, but it does sound pretty easy. Maybe not an awk, I don't know. Okay, let's see. Do we have a tour of awk? So here's bowling. Let's close these, I guess. Sure. And I suppose let's close these as well. Awk? Oh, it's not here. Or, oh wait, I think it might be down close to the bottom. Here it is. Alright. Awk is a standard... Oh gosh. Awk is a standard tool on every POSIX-compliant Unix system. It's like flex/lex from the command line. Perfect for text processing tasks and other scripting needs. It has a C-like syntax, but without mandatory semicolons, although you should use them anyway, because they are required when you're writing one-liners, something awk excels at. Without manual memory management or static typing, it excels at text processing. You can call to it from a shell script, or you can use it as a standalone scripting language. Why use awk instead of Perl? Readability. Awk is easier to read than Perl. For simple text processing scripts, particularly ones that read files line by line and split on delimiters, awk is probably the right tool for the job. Sounds like a winner, right? Okay, so we can have comments starting with a hash. Awk programs consist of a collection of patterns and actions. So we have a pattern 1 with an action, just like lex. I'm not familiar with what lex is. Is lex listed on here somewhere? No. Should we look it up on Wikipedia? Lex. A computer program that generates lexical analyzers. It is commonly used with the Yak parser generator and is the standard lexical analyzer generator on many Unix and Unix-like systems. Huh. That's interesting. I seem to recall the Grug website complaining about this very thing. Let me see. Um, Grug-brained developer. Let's see the website. I seem to remember this site complaining about this very thing. Grug love make programming language at drop of hat and say recursive descent most fun and beautiful way create parser. Unfortunately, many big brain school teach only parser generator tool. Here, Grug usual love of tool is not. Parser generator tool generate code of awful snake's nest. Impossible understand. Bottom up what? Hide recursive nature of grammar from Grug and debug impossible. Very bad according Grug. Grug think this because while complexity daemon bad for code base and understand, complexity daemon very good for generation of much academic papers. Sad but true. Oh no. Production parser almost always recursive descent, despite ignore by schools. Grug furious when learn how simple parse is. Parsing not big brain only magic, so can you. Grug very elated find big brain developer Bob Nystrom, redeem the big brain tribe, and write excellent book on recursive descent crafting interpreters. A very popular book, right? I haven't read it myself. Book available online free, but Grug highly recommend all interested Grugs purchase book on general principle, provide much big brain advice, and Grug love book very much, except visitor pattern trap. Uh-oh. Okay, so I don't know if it's specifically talking about Yak. It sounds like it must be though, right? Parser generator tool, and that's what this is? Yak? Okay. So Grug, I guess, it sounds like he probably doesn't like Yak, even though he didn't call it out by name, unless it's in here somewhere. No. But, whatever. Okay, so awk is similar, apparently, just like Lex. Okay. There is an implied loop, and awk automatically reads and parses each record of each file supplied. Each record is split by the fs delimiter, which defaults to white space. Multiple spaces, tabs, count as one. You can assign fs either on the command line, -fc, or in your begin pattern. One of the special patterns is begin. The begin pattern is true before any of the files are read. The end pattern is true after an end of file. Alright, so this is good stuff. I think I have learned something already from here. That said, let's go ahead and score the game. So I'm going to take a quick look at the test first, I guess. Because I just, like, what is going to be passed in? Is it just a string with a bunch of scores? It's just a string with a bunch of scores, right? Okay, I like this. I like this because we can technically... Let's get rid of these run skipped. Let's get rid of run skipped. Yeah, wherever that appears, let's just eliminate. Let's not skip anything. There's no need. It's not necessary. Oh, there's a ton here. What the heck? Alright. So how about this? So it's just gonna come in, so every field in there, they're all separated by spaces, and everyone is supposed to be a little integer, and we just add them all together. That's our starting point. So then in this tour, we can do this. We can say, okay, so this is a number. Alright. So now what if, so what about, actually, hold on. Let me look at some of these others. So I'm gonna start by ignoring the special scoring for the strike and the spare a little bit, because the first couple test cases don't include it. I just want to see those pass first. So let me take a look at some of the other ones that I did. I think Loon might have math in it. Nope, not this one. Loon Awk, yes, this. Okay, so... let's see. Okay, so we call int. Amazing, so that's what we got to do here. So we'll have a bunch of fields come in, all separated by white space. Bowling awk. Okay, so here it is. It says begin, implement this solution. All right. So here I did not use a begin. Did I use a begin in any of the others? Is there a begin in the hello world? It is. It just says begin print hello world because it doesn't take any input. Okay, good. How about isogram? So we didn't use a begin here. We didn't need it. We didn't. So a begin is just to run something before the input is passed in, right? I think that's basically what it's saying here, right? Let's look again. Begin will run at the beginning of the program. It's where you put all the preliminary setup code before you process any text files. If you have no text files, then think of begin as the main entry point. Variables are global. Just set them or use them. No need to declare. Wonderful. Okay, so now, so let's just not have begin. And I don't think we even need an exit, really. We're going to print a result at the end, and that's kind of how we pass our result back, right? That's it. We just have to print our result. So let's just say print result here, right? So we'll set the result at some point. Okay, so now we know that an input is going to be passed in. It's numbers separated by spaces. So we want to go through all of those, right? So if we go for I equals, and so is this 1 indexed? It looks like it must be, right? Let's try it similar to what I've got on the right-hand side of the screen when I did the isogram. I less than equal length $1. Is that going to go by fields? Oh, okay. I just remember the concept that, like, everything separated by spaces is a field, right? Is very important, and that's what we're saying here. Each record is split by the FS delimiter, which defaults to white space, right? Okay. Wait a minute. Hold on. There is an implied loop and awk automatically reads and parses each record of each file supplied. Interesting. So maybe we do need the begin. Variables are global. Just set them or use them. No need to declare. Okay. So let's actually use the begin then. So we're going to say begin, and we're going to say result equals 0, right? And at the end, oh, and so print result is actually only going to be at the end, I guess. So we won't do that, and we won't do that. So I think we're just going to loop through each record. So I think the first part is we just go result plus equals int this. I think is that it? To begin with, before we deal with the scoring, right? Which is very cool if so, but let me also help myself out a little bit by print $1 to see if it comes out as what I think it is. Okay, so now, how does it say that we run the test? It says we just go bats. Bats test. Okay, so there we go. So there's everything. The output looks like a lot. So for that reason, I feel like skipping some of these tests would be perhaps kind of advisable. That being said, let me just try it without running the test framework at all. So let me look at what is in the tests here. No, not there. Tests. Yeah. So here all we have to do is run gawk f bowling awk, and the file is 10 zeros. How many consecutive zero? How many frames are there in bowling? I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Holy crap. Best viewers? Infrequent repellent ores 7. Thank you. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Is that it? Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, so command not found run. So we don't do run, I think we just do that, right? Okay, so a 0, so okay, so it didn't do what I hoped or imagined that it might do, right? Um, Wait a minute. A spare followed by zeros. Oh, I see. So each individual throw is in here. That's why it looks a ton. So it should be 20 in total, I guess. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yeah, that does seem right, doesn't it? Okay, so it came out, it printed the 6, but it only did the 6. So what was this trying to tell me about a loop? It sounded so convenient. There is an implied loop, and awk automatically reads and parses each record of each file supplied. Okay, so I didn't understand. We need to learn more. Every line? Oh, goodness. Wait a minute, wait a minute. $0 is the name of the current line being processed. Each line is implicitly split before every action is called, much like the shell does. And we can access with the $sign. Okay, so this is where I'm still a skill issue. Skill issues like crazy. The most important one is NF. So are we going to have to loop through according to NF? I mean, that's fine. Okay, so let's do it. Okay, so we are going to go... Let me look at my other help again. This one. So we're going to go for I equals 1, I less than NF, less than equal NF, I plus plus, all right, we're going to say pins, I guess, equals int, and then here we go $I, all right, so then we're going to print pins, and then result plus equals pins. I don't know. So the begin and end aren't really helping us. I think I will get rid of them in that case. Okay, so I came out with the number 10, which is what we are expecting, I think, right? Okay. So let's do it again, and this time all zeros. And it should come out 0. Okay. Yeah, this looks fine. Let me get rid of this print here. And let's go again. So it came out 0, good. And that one came out 10. Okay, so we should get 90 if we go 3636. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 90. So far, so good. Then over here, I've got a 10. Points scored in the roll after a spare are counted twice. Okay, so yeah, this is where it gets a little more interesting. So here, there are 10 frames in a bowling. So I'm going to put 10 here, all right? And then, so we're going to say first roll, all right, equals int dollar. And so here we do what? I times 2 minus 1, right? And then, whoops. Second, we just get rid of this. Okay, so now let's do the spare first and then the strike after. Do we have bool? Let's take a look. It doesn't say bool anywhere. Does it say false? Okay, I'll just say, was spare equals 0 and was strike equals 0. That way we can kind of count down, I guess. I don't know. Or maybe do we need to go through it more than once? Do we want to do that? So let's see. If we go through and like and what? It's not very complicated. I just want to do it in a simple way because I'm not at all familiar with the awk programming language. Do we have something like an array? Yeah, let's use something like an array. Let's use something like 2 different arrays. Okay, so then let's say if, and let me see the if statement. Okay. Equal. Okay. So we'll say if first roll equals 10, all right, then strikes sub I equals 1. Okay. It said to use them, but I don't like them. I'll just get rid of them. Else strikes sub I equals 0. Can we do that? Roll sum equals first roll plus second roll. Okay. If first, let's see, if roll sum equals 10 equals 10. Why did I mess that up here? Strikes, or excuse me, spares sub I equals 1. Else spares sub I equals 0. All right? Counting pins knocked down first. Okay, so then we'll count additional points for strikes and spares after that, I guess, right? So then we'll do counting extra points for spares. So we'll say for I equals 1, I less than equal 10, I plus plus. But in this case, we don't go all the way to the end, or do we? How many did they do here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So they went all the way up through 21. So we need to, I guess, account for that. I guess here, I don't know. So we'll say, so if we got a spare, then we also check for an extra roll on the 10th frame. So if I is 10, then we are going to say roll sum plus equals int I times 2 plus 1. Yeah? So we'll have to do something similar for strikes, but I'm going to come back to strikes because that's further down the test file. Okay. So we will say, so here, the 10th works differently, and we already accounted for it above, so I'll only go up to 9th. So here, we will say, if spares sub I is 1, all right, then we're going to add to the result, right? What is this? This is not right. So then now result plus equals, and we'll say int $I times 2 plus, and now we add 1, right? Maybe for spares it's easier to just do it in the same loop, honestly. Changing my mind again, oh goodness. All right, so here we said if it's 10, no, yeah, so that's good. No, something's not good. if I equals 10, roll sum plus equals, yeah, so that seems fine, but I'm missing something. Okay, hold on. Okay, here, else. Okay, so here we are gonna say roll sum plus equals int. Yeah, this makes more sense to me. But not really, not really. So this should be not equal. This should go here. Whoops. And then here we're gonna go 2 and add 2. What am I doing? You know, I feel kind of good about it. So I won't do this in a separate loop, and then I'm gonna put right here. To do account for the extra strike. Okay, but let's get there. So now let's do the Gawk F bowling awk. Let's do that one first. So that one still comes out 0. Good. Six. Yeah, this one. So 10. All right. $90. That's fine. Okay, so now let's do 6, 4. Oh wait, no, I already did that one. So we did all the zeros. We did this. Okay, now this one is 6, 4, 3, and so now it should be 16, right? And 8 more pairs. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wait a minute. Is that right? So it came out 16. Is that the right amount of numbers? Hold on, hold on. I think I put too many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. It conveniently fits on the left-hand pane now that I expanded it a little bit wider. Right? Okay, so that's good. Cool. So then the next one, consecutive spares get a 1 roll bonus. Oh, really? Did I know that about bowling rules? Hold on. 5, 5. Consecutive spares get a 1 roll bonus. 5, 5, 3, 7. So we count 10, 20, 24, and then we count this twice. Shoot. So 28. Let me see it in the README again. I haven't played bowling much, and not really since I was a kid, and I was never any good. I was never any good at any sports, let's be real. Alright, so not this one, the README. Okay. In the next throw. Okay, I had read that really wrong. I was thinking the next frame. Okay, so let's go. So, okay, so that simplifies it compared to what I did, because I didn't know what I was doing. um, so actually, this is not at all needed, right? I think that's true. Okay. So now I'm going to try running test again. Because that's so much to read. But, well, can I do this into a paginator? I'm not sure. Okay, yes, good. Okay, so I got okay, okay. Okay, there's several okays here. All zeros. No strikes or spares. Spare followed by zeros. Okay, let me just look for the first not okay. So not okay is after a strike. The first not okay is after a strike. So actually, it seems like the strike is actually far simpler than I first realized, probably, right? So if a strike is followed... Oh, okay, so it does get a little complicated, doesn't it? Oh, goodness. So the 10th frame can be up to 3 strikes. So the total value of the 10th frame is the total number of pins knocked down. Okay. So spare I think is good, and strike I think is not that bad either. But I think we do need to check and see if we are on number 10 for the strike. So we need to check a couple of things. So let me make a note. Okay, so first of all, check if the next throw is also a strike, right? So if, and then yeah, in the test, after a strike is thrown, do we show a 0? Where's the first strike? So they show a 10 here, good. And then do they show a, what do they show? These are just throws, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, okay, okay, okay. So it doesn't show like a 0 where you didn't throw. Okay. So I think it makes it a little simpler. So when we throw a strike, then and we don't even need to count that, actually. That was extra complication that's not required. It's just, yeah, that's all we need to do. Okay, like that. So, and we don't need that, and we don't need this. Okay, first of all, check if the next throw is also a strike. So I don't even need to check that. Let's not even do that. So we're just going to say roll sum plus equals int I times 2 plus 1, same as for a spare. Oh, if that's the same as for a spare, then let's just use it both places. So if roll sum is 10, then we add the next roll. If first roll is 10, here, so let's say this is a spare or strike. Doesn't even need that. And then here we'll say this is a spare. And we won't even have that. And this will be 2. And actually, I think that's literally all that is required. But no, there is something else. There is something else. So this was assuming 2 rolls for each frame, but that assumption is not correct. The strike count is needed to offset the frames with only 1 roll. I'm not sure that makes sense. Let me revisit it. No, this is a strike. Okay, so here we will say strike count plus equals 1 here, all right? And let's actually just say plus plus. And then when we do this, we will have to subtract strike count here. So I'm just going to say frame index equals I times 2 subtract strike count. And I'm actually going to say subtract 1. So I'm just going to put that there as well, because I think that's more clear in some way. And so then this one will just say frame index. This one will say frame index plus 1. But then that's the other thing. If it is a strike, then there is no second roll, right? So I would have benefited from doing this on paper. I would have benefited a lot from doing this on paper. But whatever, we're getting there. Okay, so I'm going to say else and just handle the rest separately, I guess. And then here, we need to use frame index plus 1 still, right? And frame index plus 2, right? And then here, frame score equals first roll plus, all right, frame score, and then this is a spare, and then we add frame index plus 2. And this should be results plus equals. Okay, well, I did that in a very goofy way, so I'm going to go back and read over everything because I changed up a whole bunch. So we start with result equals 0. That's good. The strike count is needed to offset the frames with only one roll. Yeah, that's the... That comment is not clarifying. I don't know, it's not clear. Counting pins knocked down first. There are 10 frames in a bowling game. Okay, so that's nice. Minus strike count minus 1. Okay. First roll. If it is a strike, then we add 10, then we add the next, and we add the next. And then we increment the strike count because we're going to need that here. Okay. If it's not a strike, then we make a frame score and add that to the result. If it is a spare, then we add a number. So that actually that's not too bad. Now that it's edited, it seems clear enough. I'm going to read over it one more time though. So we start with 0. All right. We're going to go through the 10 frames. Each time we do, we're going to find the index of the frames in the fields. Okay, yes. Let's try the test. Bats. Okay. So that's, how many successes is that? I can't fully tell, but it's a good amount of successes. So our first not okay is number 16. Rolls cannot score negative points. So if we get negative, then we're supposed to, or if it's more than 10, we're supposed to do some kind of error handling, I guess, right? So let's blow that up a little bit again. And so it was something about negative. Rolls cannot score negative points. So it was supposed to say negative roll is invalid. Okay, so let's come over here and do that. Oh, shoot. Crashed? What? Quit. Oh, I'm in the wrong one. Okay. This should probably be bats. Or bat. It should be, no, it should be this. This. There it is. Okay, so we're supposed to say negative roll is invalid. Okay. So do we want a helper function to check the roll for us? It seems like we need it, right? So let's go back and look at how we create a helper function in awk. It said something about a function, right? Here's how you define a function. Probably the most annoying part of awk is that there are no local variables. Everything is global. Darn. That is a little crazy, isn't it? There is a workaround, ahem, hack. So these are local to the function, apparently. Well, fair enough. So, yeah, let's create a function to take in the actual, like, things. But the thing is, wait a minute. So we want to call a function, but is that going to help us? Because we need to be able to exit early. Okay. So, let's see. So every place that we use int, which is 5 places, it looks like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places. So every time that happens, we are going to need to check and see if it's negative or greater than 10, and either of those is invalid. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. Second roll equals this, all right? And then this one is third roll, right? Okay. So we're going to look at the second roll either way, so let's move that up. Is this also going to be true either way? No. Well, sort of. But let's leave it alone for now. Second roll. Okay. So here we look at the third roll, but only if it's a spare, right? Okay, so let's see if there is anything. Error, exception. Is there anything to help us? Like an early exit? Is there a break, for example? Loop. I guess there's not really that much to help us. I don't know what there is exactly to help us with this. So this is a strike. This is a spare. We don't want this. That's not part of anything. Okay, so I'm just gonna put here error equals none. Okay. And I'm gonna say if error equals none, print result. Else print error. All right. Okay, so then here at the end of our loop, I'm gonna say if it's a little ugly to do it this way, but this is just what I'm gonna try for now. And maybe I'll think of a refactor. Maybe I'll spend some time thinking about it, but not a ton. Anyway, so if error equals none, then if first roll less than 0, or second roll less than 0. So now we'll have to initialize third roll, right? Or third roll less than 0, right? Yeah, I guess. And so now error equals negative roll is invalid. All right? So if first roll or second roll or third roll is less than 0, then we set that error, right? If the error has already been set to something, then I'm not going to worry about it. Wait, what is this? Okay. Okay. Um... I don't like it because what we should be doing is looking for like shoot. Maybe I want to go through all the throws first. So a roll cannot score and 2 rolls in a frame cannot score more than 10. Bonus roll after a strike in the last frame cannot score more than 10 points. Else if first roll greater than 10, or second roll greater than 10, or third roll greater than 10, error equals pin count exceeds pins on the wall, right? Okay. So then the other question is frame score. So again, I guess that will need to be initialized if we do it this way. Frame score equals 0. Okay, so here we'll say else if frame score greater than 10, error equals pin count. Oh, wait a minute. No, that should just be another condition here, excuse me. Frame score greater than 10. Okay. So, pin count exceeds pins on the lane. Yeah. Pin count exceeds pins on the lane. Shoot. That one's gonna fail, and I don't, off the top of my head, I don't have the answer for that one. Score cannot be taken until the end of the game. I'm gonna want to try out what I've got so far. Okay, so let's get rid of this. Okay. Still got a whole bunch. Okay. A whole bunch. A whole bunch. Alright, roll. Command succeeded, but it was expected to fail. Assert failure. Oh, interesting. So when we do that, we have to use an exit code, right? Okay, so is that better? No. Command succeeded, but it was expected to fail. Output -1. Oh, so yeah, that's wrong. It didn't work. Oh, gosh. Rolls cannot score. Okay. So it didn't show. So let's just do that case, which is negative. I'm going to be here all day, it seems like. Probably not all day, but I've been here a while already, my goodness. All right, so we just put in a -1, and that was it. And so it came out -1, so that's pretty uncool, I guess. But, interesting. So yeah, it's a simple case. So we thought that this should have been like, okay, hey, that first roll was less than 0, right? That's what I imagined. There are 10 frames in a bowling game. No, I want to... Okay, so I see the -1 there. Print first roll less than 0. It came out 1. Okay. So is this in the wrong place? Oh, wait. Oh, no! Oh, no! Okay. Talk about simple mistake, my goodness. Okay, so it says negative roll is invalid. Okay, so now if we test again, is it any better? Yeah, that is better. So 2 bonus rolls. Okay. Unstarted game cannot be scored. And what is that one? An incomplete game cannot be scored. So we have to be able to check and see if the field is actually set, which apparently it hasn't been doing. So many fails. Okay, what's this last one? Cannot roll after bonus rolls for strike. So I think what we can do is we can just, let's just see what happens when we print frame index, because I think it should come out as nothing when there's nothing there. That seems obvious, right? And then let's try it with one of these. Like, let's try it with this 0, 0. Okay, so gawk. So we ran 0, 0, but that was it. Okay, so nothing came out there, right? Okay, so else if um, it's getting ugly. First roll s equals frame index. First roll equals int first roll s. Second roll s. Okay, so then third roll. First roll s is nothing, or second roll s is nothing, or third roll s is nothing. Error equals score cannot be taken until the end of the. think I messed that up in some silly way. Okay. Yeah. So where's incomplete? Incomplete. So that one came out okay. So that's one. We still have a bunch of not okays. Cannot roll after bonus rolls for strike. Cannot roll after bonus roll for spare. Okay, so here, when we do... okay, so if we get a strike... check that last two rolls are not over 10. So we'll say if I equals 10, so this is the final frame. And then we'll say frame score equals second roll plus third roll. And so my expectation there is that that should make one of them pass, which is the one about the final frame or whatever. I think it's this one, 2 bonus rolls. Okay, so that one says okay. All right, an unstarted game cannot be scored. All strikes is a perfect game, so I messed that one up. That one was passing and I messed it up. I got pin count exceeds pins on the line. Okay, so I did mess that one up and wasn't even thinking about it. Unless the first is a strike. Okay, so if that and second roll not equal 10, right? Okay, so is that better? Okay. Okay, just 4 left. Just about at the end now. This one has taken me a long time, huh? Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, so now at the end, we need to check for extra rolls. So if it's 10, then let me make some notes here. So on the last frame, so on the last frame, there cannot be a fourth roll, and there cannot be a third roll unless it was a strike or spare. Okay. So if I equals 10, so that's the final frame, and then this is a fourth roll, so a fourth roll is not valid. Or a third roll and so what here? First roll not equal 10 and first roll plus second roll. Not equal 10. Ooh, that's one of the ugliest I've ever written. Okay, I'll need to refactor this. So in this case, we want to say cannot roll after game is over. Okay, there's only one left. Okay, let's finish that one and then let's refactor. This desperately needs some refactoring. Okay, so an unstarted game cannot be scored. So let's see how that looked. Unstarted. Okay. So we're gonna go gawk like this, but we're gonna put in EOF like this apparently. So what does it say if we do that? Uh-oh. It looks like it hung or something. Run gawk. What is EOF here? They've got EOF 2 times. Okay, so gawk F like this. EOF. Gawk F bowling awk. EOF. EOF. Yeah? So interesting. So nothing ended up getting printed there, right? Begin. Unstarted equals true. Unstarted equals false. This turned into a huge file too. That's insanity. If unstarted equals true, I don't even know if this is going to work. Print score cannot be taken until the end of the game. Is that crazy? Okay, well, that's right. I think. So now what's the bats say? Okay, so it messed up a whole bunch of stuff. If unstarted equals true, print score cannot be taken until. So here, when we started, I was supposed to make it say false. So what's the deal there? Oh, I forgot an extra equal sign again? How many times is that today? That's crazy. Okay, so it didn't work there. An unstarted game cannot be scored. Oh wait, that looks right. Hey, wait, so what's the problem? Score cannot be taken until the end of the game. Oh, hold on. Huh, that looks right, I thought. Score cannot be taken until the end of the game. So it's just one failure. An unstarted game cannot be scored. Oh, I didn't put the exit. Is that it? Okay, all passing. Let's try to refactor. This one is an absolute beast, and it shouldn't be. I don't think it should be an absolute beast like this. I have got 83 lines in this file. I feel like it shouldn't be more than like 40. Probably. I don't know. Okay, let's look. So this is okay. This I just did. There are 10 frames in a bowling game. Oh my gosh. A lot of this is so nasty. So this one in particular is about as gross as I can imagine. Truth be told, I don't super love the idea of refactoring this very much right now. It's a really ugly file. Um, I'm sure that probably the solutions from top contributors are probably around 20 lines or less, I would guess. I would have to guess. Let's look at the manual. Okay. Is it a pretty long manual? It looks kind of long. Yeah, kind of long, yeah. See also grep. Okay. An interpreter for the awk programming language. We can set a field separator. Program structure, begin, end. Expression. Okay, so there is an option of continue and break. So we probably want to make use of those. If there's anything about exception handling, that would be such a big improvement, honestly. That's really the main thing I'm looking for. I'm gonna Google it next if I don't see something. I'm 80% of the way down the file. Okay, I am gonna Google it, but I don't have high hopes after briefly scanning that. Awk programming language error handling. Wait a minute. What is this? Huh. Alright, so variables count. I don't have high hopes. I think I'm just gonna submit it as is, and then let's look at top like ranked user solutions. So I'm gonna run exorcism test. Looks okay, right? I'm gonna run exorcism submit, and we're gonna choose the bowling file. Ugly though it may be. Alright, here we go. So it'll process that, and if it says okay, then I will say mark as complete, and then we're gonna look at community solutions. I'll probably look at maybe a couple of them, maybe 2 or 3. Alright, it says passed here. Any notes? No automatic notes, it doesn't look like. So I'm going to mark as complete. I'll move it over in my spreadsheet. So that's awk bowling. There's an interesting exercise. I am guessing that the community solutions are going to be so much better than mine. They gotta be. That's some of the worst code I've ever written. Undeniably. Okay, so let's look at highest rep user, and let's take a look at Rabistro's solution. Here we go. Okay, so first of all, is it shorter than mine? Yeah, it's about half the length of mine, so that's a good start. So we say begin RS, and where do we use RS, first of all? Oh. I don't see where we use RS. Oh. Okay. So that's this. So what is the point of doing this? Okay, so die. That's what I was looking for, isn't it? Okay. Let's refactor right now. Oh, wait. I think... No, hold on. Is die something he defined? Oh my gosh. Yes, I should have been able to think of that. 100%. Okay, let's go... Let's refactor right now. Holy crap. Holy crap. So we don't... So wherever we have this error... So let's not do that. And then we don't need to do this either. And we can get rid of one of these. Let's shift all of these over. And we're not going to say error equals. We're just going to print. Oh, gosh. What the heck? There it is. Okay. And then we don't need to do this at all. That's an improvement. That's a legit improvement. Okay, so let's test. Nope, I messed it up. I got so excited I didn't look it over carefully, I guess. I don't know. Alright, so this is here. Then we say if any of that, then we print negative roll is invalid and exit 1. Wait, what's this? Something's marked in red. Else if I did mess something up. What is it? Darn. Darn. Ah. Jump to matching bracket. Percent key. I don't use it much, but yeah, that's perfect. That seems good. What did I mess up? So, okay. Oh, I got rid of the print results at the end. Okay, so it doesn't go there. It goes here. Okay, let's submit that. So that's a good iteration. It's a step in the right direction, I think. Okay, so now let's look again at this guy's solution. I don't know what RS is. RS equals space. Is that the field separator? FS? What is RS? Okay, I don't see RS there. RS. Okay, so that's record separator. And do we also talk about field separator? So that's what was talked about in the tour. Okay, so field separator and record separator. Okay, so initially, oh, interesting. Initially, RS equals N and records are synonymous with lines. Okay, okay, okay. So I needed to know that. Good. So cool. So he's doing it using the implicit loop like I first thought or hoped I'd be able to do, but quickly gave up on. That's cool. So then, so RS. So function is game over. Oh, nice. So we increment the throw here. And then we say, okay, here's my roll. But now we have to check what throw we're talking about. Okay. So round. Oh, interesting. Oh, this guy has got the skills. It's clear. It's clear from reading it. This guy has plainly got the skills. So, cannot roll after game is over. Okay, so round. So I see round here. Oh. So it looks like round is implicitly initialized at 0 because we don't see it being assigned anywhere except for here where it's being incremented. So that's neat. So if it hasn't been initialized, or throw minus frame subround equals 2, or the knocked down to pins equals 10. Interesting, interesting. So yeah, I love this. So we're going in a bunch of different steps. So we do this step, then we do this separate step, and each step, and a lot of these steps, so this step runs unconditionally, but I guess the rest, oh, and here's another one. This one also runs unconditionally. But this one runs conditionally. So if it is those, if we're at the very start of the game, then we do run this. So we'll set the pins to 10 for each round. So if they knocked down 10, then that was a strike. And so we say, okay, it's the next round. And if we've already thrown twice in a round, then we say, okay, it's the next round, right? That's here. Throw minus frame subround equals 2. All right. So now, so we already set the role here. That's done unconditionally because we always need to know what the role is. All right, so then here we're like, oh, hey, please, we cannot do that. It looks like we could do this before, but we can't do this one. So we do have to count the number of pins first. Well, no, actually, I think we could potentially do both of these right after getting the roll, but it probably doesn't. So then we run this one unconditionally, assuming we haven't died, of course. All right, so we're going to say we knocked down however many we rolled, and then the number of pins remaining to knock down is reduced. Dang, that's really, really good, isn't it? Okay, so then at the end, we do have to iterate through to tally everything up, I guess, huh? So his is clearly way better than mine. I do still find his certainly more readable than mine, but still a little hard to read. I don't know if it's just because maybe it's not a problem that's well suited to the awk programming language. I feel like to some extent it might not be a super well suited problem to the awk programming language, right? Because we know the awk programming language is specialized for text processing, right? And this is not really a text processing problem. It kind of starts out that way, where we put in text representing the game, but it's not really a text processing problem, I don't think. At its heart. But maybe for somebody better versed in the language, this would be readable. I think it's probably, I would imagine this is probably about as readable as it gets for an awk solution to this problem. Let's look at another solution. So here's another highest rep user. This one is longer, and here's somebody who did it in quite a short amount. They did it in just 23 lines. Oh, interestingly enough, there are not a lot of community solutions for this one. Okay, so I'm gonna look at just... This one's 97 lines. That's even longer than mine. And they used regex. Interesting. Let's look at this one. This might be the last one I look at. This is all pretty hacky. I'll eventually come back and refactor. Should I look at it anyway? Okay, so it's good that they did define these errors. I like that. Then they did everything in a short loop here, and I think that's really cool. Error equals bruh. Wait a minute. So when you set error to something and exit, does it print that error? Or... Okay, so print error. Okay. Okay, cool. Interesting. This core loop here is so much smaller than mine. Mine is utter insanity. So we do have separate ones for score normal frame and score final frame. So that's interesting. Okay. I think I'm ready to look at mine one more time, and if I can come up with one more decent refactor that helps at all, then I'm gonna call that good enough for now. Hmm. Why doesn't that syntax highlight the way I'm expecting? Okay, I'll just leave it alone. Okay. Can we do something else with this unstarted thing? Yeah, you know what I would rather do? I would rather say right at the start, if $1 equals nothing, and then not even do this. And then not even do that. How's that? Darn. Okay, so unstarted game cannot be scored. Okay, so it didn't quite work. So if $1... Print $1. So... Oh, okay, so it doesn't print at all because we don't even enter into it. Darn. So we can't, so yeah, so we can't do that there. Is that okay? Yeah, that's okay. So that's a small but valuable refactor in my opinion. So I'll submit that one, and let's see if I can look for one more. Even if it's just that small again, I'm okay with that. This part here is so nasty. Okay, so I equals 10. Ooh, yeah, I do hate it. So, shoot. It would just need a kind of a big refactor to fix it, I'm afraid. I don't necessarily fear big refactors. Part of I think that I still, even though I've been using Vim for a year, I still fear refactors in Vim more than I should. Like, if I were on JetBrains, I would fear refactors less. Okay. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna log off in 5 minutes, and I am going to watch some Vim content. And I know exactly which Vim content it's gonna be. It's gonna be, I'm gonna watch, I watched most of this one before, but it was Vim, Diesel, Vim Tutor, Luke Smith, YouTube? Yeah, this one. I'm gonna do this one. So this one's over an hour, but then also I'm gonna do Primogen Vim tutorial full playlist YouTube, which is this? Is this a playlist? Yes. Yeah. So this one, so these are not super long, but after I log off today, I'm gonna watch this again because I'm definitely like I think I I think I watched this when I was about like a couple weeks into using Vim. I think I'll get more out of it if I watch it again. And then I sort of watched these, but I didn't get much out of these. So I've been meaning to go through them, and you know what? At this point now, because I admitted that I fear refactoring because of Vim skill issues, that's not good. So, yeah, I will totally do these. All right, anything else before I log off here? So doing this is so absurd. So absurd. Just really crazy. So in all reality, I should have a function that helps me. And it should, this is going to be a good refactor if I can pull it off. I should have something that will check all of these things when I get a roll. Right? And that should be possible. So I'm going to go into function. And where's the tour again? Function. So here's how you define a function. And I'm going to call it get roll. Okay. So does a function return something? So it does return something. Okay. So I guess it takes a roll index, right? Okay. And it will return a roll at the end. And then, so here's what we're going to do. We are going to first of all say everything is global, it told us, right? So we're going to first look and see if $roll index equals nothing, then we will say score cannot be taken until the end of the game. All right. Whoops. So if $roll index equals nothing, print, and let's copy that. Okay, and exit one. All right. Okay. Then we will say if int $roll index less than 0, all right, print, and it's going to be negative roll is invalid. Oops, here it is. Exit one. All right, cool. And then if int, okay, so let's not do, in fact, let's, okay, so let's just say s equals roll index, n equals int s, okay, so then this one is pin count exceeds pins on the line, right? Okay, so what I think that that means is we don't need to check this stuff, so we can get rid of that. All right. This does not need to be checked all the way down to here. This all does not need to be checked. This doesn't even need to be an else, and I think it's probably better if it's not. For readability, it's a small difference, but I'm just going to change it. Okay. So here's what I've got. So if frame score greater than 10, okay, so now I need to get that message, which is going to be this. There we go. All right. So now when we get the roll, we are just going to say first roll equals roll frame index, right? Yeah, that seems right. And then here, likewise. And then we don't need to mess with these. The frame score is still needed. Actually, it's not. Or is it? I don't think it is. If frame score greater than 10. Yeah, that's fine. Let's leave it alone. All right, so then this is a strike. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure it made that big of a difference. A positive difference, but maybe kind of a small one, honestly. It's still long as all heck here. Ugh. Okay, so let's see if it passes. Oh my goodness, I messed it up. Function roll not defined. Okay. Let me look at that other guy's thing. Oh gosh. Oh no, where is it? I keep accidentally hitting that. That's crazy. Okay, so community, this guy. So function is game over. So how did I mess up calling that function? Function die. Okay, let me look at mine. I must have messed up something quite obvious, I guess. It just says function role not defined. Okay, so, oh, it's a get role. What in the world am I saying? Okay, so let's not say get role. Let's just say role. I named it one thing and just forgot. Like, did I just rename it in my mind without doing it on the screen? That's crazy. All right, so let's submit that. It still needs work. It definitely still needs work. So here's my iterations. It doesn't really show any stats about them or anything, but the file is still long as all heck. Like, I'm not comfortable with it being that long, to be quite honest. Is it any... Okay. The file length is just sort of a proxy for, like, how complicated is it? A long file is not necessarily more complicated than necessary, but it's kind of a smell. So it was 75 here. Can I get the file below 70? Do I really need to set result? Actually, probably not. I probably don't need to set either of these. Okay, I guess I did need to. Why did we fail here? Oh, okay. Score cannot be taken until the end of the game. A roll cannot score more than 10 points. Oh, interesting, interesting. So... yeah. Now that's hacky as all heck. Alright, let's submit that change. I guess just S is probably sufficient there, right? Nope, I guess not. Bonus roll for a spare in the last... Huh, interesting. Alright. Yep. Okay, so then what else? So end, and then we define this function. So we could define a die like that other guy did. How many times do we say exit 1 in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? 6 times? Okay, sure. Let's... So then here this becomes... So for I equals 1, I less than equal 10, I plus plus. First roll, second roll. So if we got a strike, then we do this. So, I mean, if I'm interested in shaving lines off, then I could do that, but that doesn't really aid clarity at all, so forget it. Okay, so in this case, let me get rid of that. That's not even a real refactor, it's just the smallest little thing. Just shaving off a line, just because I don't want that many lines. So, to be honest, it is a pretty verbose way to write it, but I'm actually sort of happy with the clarity of it now, to me, that I've been looking at it for like over like an hour and a half. So this is not clear at all. Like, just to look at it, like, why are we doing this, right? The frame index calculation is what? You know, honestly, this would probably be simpler if we started at 0 and did less than 10. I guess it really doesn't make that much difference, does it? And then we would just be adding 1 instead. Yeah, I mean, it's fine, I guess. Okay, so now I messed it up. Okay. do this. I do check I equals 10 a couple times, so I could say is last frame equals I equals 10. And then this comment becomes more redundant. Wait a minute. Shouldn't I have an and here? So we'll say was strike or spare equals first roll equals 10, or first roll plus second roll equals 10. Invalid third roll equals was strike. So we can do not here, right? I think. Or spare. And okay, so now I should be able to say or invalid third, right? I'll get rid of that nestiness. Is that better? If it works, it's better, but it doesn't. I messed it up. It says it's saying roll. Wait a minute. Okay, I misspelled right here. Okay, so that's okay. I think that's a big improvement. On the last frame, there cannot be a fourth roll, so invalid fourth roll equals this. So if is last frame and invalid fourth roll or invalid third roll. Cannot roll after game is over. Yeah, I think that's a big improvement over what I had before. Hey, I'm going to submit and I'm going to log off. Okay, so I did 6 iterations on this one. And This last one, it's not super, super long. It's longer than most of the other ones that have been submitted. But I think I did a decent job on clarity after a few refactors. Maybe if I revisit it in a couple weeks, I could probably make it a lot better. But it's certainly improved over what I submitted on the first iteration, my goodness.